students. So how are you all doing today? Give me a thumbs up if you're doing good. Thumbs in between if you're doing not bad, not good, you're just having an okay day. And a thumbs down if you're having a bad, awful day. So I'm going to put my thumbs up because I'm having a good day. So let me see those thumbs up. Okay, looks like you all have your thumbs up. We're in between, which means none of us are having a bad day, which is good. So to begin, I would like to go over our classroom rules and expectations. I know that we have gone over it before, but I would like to just review so you guys know what is expected of you and to keep in mind the rules when we are learning our new lesson for today. So let's start. So the first rule is students will raise their hands. This is very important because we don't want anyone to just blur out any answers or to say, interrupt me or say, hey, I need to go to the restroom without raising their hand, because that is very rude. So we will all raise your hands. No one will interrupt me. No one will interrupt another student. We will just politely raise our hands, wait to be called on, and say our question or comment. Good? Good. The second one is students will always be kind and respectful. This is very important. This is important because we all need to treat each other with kindness and respect, because the way that you treat someone is the way that they will treat you back. So it is important to always act with kindness and respect. I want to be treated with kindness and respect, so I will treat all of you guys the same way to be treated the same. So the third one is students will understand that mistakes are okay. So this is important because sometimes I know that students get shy to make mistakes or feel embarrassed, but please don't feel shy or embarrassed, because mistakes are a part of learning. It is okay to make mistakes. Even I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. So please don't be shy or embarrassed. Will we make fun of our classmates if they make mistakes? No. Will we think they're not smart because they make mistakes? No, definitely not. Mistakes are part of learning. So mistakes are okay. The next one is inside voices will be used at all times. So this is important because I don't want to hear any yelling or anybody talking across the room, because it's just very distracting. So please, let's keep our inside voices. If you have a question, remember, raise your hand, and maybe sometimes I might speak a little loud, but that's because I want to get everyone's attention, okay? But please use your inside voice. Does that mean that you have to whisper like this, like, shh? No, that means that you can talk, but not in a loud voice. So for example, you can tell your neighbor, hey, what page are we on? But you're not going to say, hey, what page are we on? Does that make sense to everyone? Good. The last one is teacher and student will always be prepared and focused. This one is also important because not only do you need to be on task and focused, but this also applies to myself. Okay, so today we will be reading King Midas. This is the second grade class. So first I will read the story, and there's many things that I want you guys to keep in mind while I'm reading. I want you guys to keep in mind the setting, the main characters, any important events that happened, any consequences. Just have those 4 things in mind. And then, also new vocabulary terms. If there's a vocabulary term that you do not understand, just raise your hands and I will highlight it, and we'll go back to it at the end, because I don't want to interrupt our reading, and just give you the definition when I can give it to you at the end. So we will take care of that at the end. So first, I will pass out a booklet to each of you, and I will tell you what page we will turn to, and you guys will listen to me. First, you will listen with your ears. You will listen. Everybody point to your ears. Good job. So we're going to listen with our ears. First, I'm going to read. You guys will just listen, and then I will ask some questions, and you guys will have a turn to share with your partners and say what you think, and then give me your feedback, okay? Does that sound good? Thumbs up? Good. Okay, so let's begin. So let's turn to page 12. 1, 2, page 12. Página 12. 1, 2, 1, 2, página 12. So thumbs up when you are all on page 12. I'll give you guys a few seconds to turn to that page. Good. I see most of you are ready. Just waiting for a couple of students in the back. Okay, so remember, just keep your question in mind, or here, there's some lines. You can go ahead and just jot your question quickly so you don't forget it, and you can ask it to me when I finish reading. Okay, so I want to see everyone focused. I want you guys to listen with your ears and see with your eyes. Should you be looking at me? No. Should you be looking at your book? Yes. So let's begin. The Tale of King Midas, a Greek myth. Once, long ago, there lived a rich king named Midas. Midas loved two things in his kingdom with all his heart. He loved his daughter, whose name was Marigold. Midas also loved gold. In fact, except for his daughter, Midas was fonder of gold than anything else in his kingdom. He loved gold more than his beautiful yellow flower garden. He loved gold more than a beautiful sunset. He loved gold more than a delicious feast. As time passed, Midas yearned for more and more gold. His dear Marigold would bring him pretty golden buttercups or yellow dandelions from his garden. Midas would smile and take the flowers, but once Marigold was out of sight, Midas would frown. Why can't these flowers be real gold? He wondered. If they were, I would be much happier. Every day, Midas went to his favorite room, the treasury. There, he counted his coins. Each month, his people paid their taxes in gold. So we're on the next page now. So far, is everyone following along? Thumbs up? Good. Midas believed that gold gave him power. So if he had more gold, he would have more power. With more gold, he could become the most powerful ruler in the ancient world. Yet, Midas was kind. He did not want to tax his people more than necessary. How then would he get more gold? I must have more gold, Midas muttered to himself with a sigh. He closed the door to his treasury. I will take a walk in my garden. Maybe that will make me happy. Midas gazed out over his garden. Gold-colored buttercups, dandelions, and daisies danced in the breeze. His giant sunflowers had turned to face the sun. Their yellow petals shine like gold in the sunlight. Even the path Midas walked on had a golden glow. My flowers are beautiful, sighed Midas, but they are not real gold. Midas' happiness disappeared like smoke up a chimney. Okay, so we're on the next page now. Page 14. Upon reaching the end of the path, Midas saw a satyr asleep in a bed of his golden flowers. The satyr was a strange creature that was half man and half beast. Satyrs usually stayed in the woods, playing music and helping the Greek god Dionysus. This satyr was old and thin, and Midas took pity on him. Poor thing, he is tired and looks hungry. I will bring him some food, thought Midas as he went into his palace's kitchen. Back in the garden, Midas gently woke the creature and offered him some bread, olives, and water. Once the satyr was finished eating, Midas sent him on his way. Satyrs were not often treated well by people, so this satyr told Dionysus about Midas' kindness. As is the way of the gods, Dionysus decided to reward Midas. Next page. Suddenly, a strong wind swirled, and Dionysus appeared in Midas' palace. At first, Midas was startled, but once he recognized Dionysus, Midas graciously offered the god something cool to drink. No, thank you, replied the god. His voice was soft and melodious like a flute. You were kind to my satyr. He is old and often falls asleep these days. He meant no harm. My flowers are very soft and inviting, commented Midas. To reward your kindness, I will grant you one wish. The god smiled, but also crossed his arms in a thoughtful pose. Midas was so overjoyed that he couldn't speak. Immediately, he began to draw a mental list of wishes. I could wish for a bigger palace, Midas said quietly. Is that your wish? Asked the god. No, that is not my wish, Midas quickly answered. He had to wish for something special. Suddenly, Suddenly, Midas sat up straight and his eyes glowed. He knew exactly what to wish for. And his wish would indeed make him the most powerful king in the ancient world. I wish that everything I touch will turn to gold, declared Midas. He stood up and clapped, as he was so proud of and excited by his wish. Dionysus shook his head and frowned. Are you sure that is your wish? I am. Yes, 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 it is my wish. Midas strolled quickly up and down the throne room. His smile curved upward to his ears as he noted all the objects that he could turn into gold. We are on the next page now, page 17. Just a quick thumbs up. Everyone's doing good. Good. The god sighed. I grant your wish, King Midas. Everything you touch will turn to gold. Dionysus' voice echoed in the palace as he disappeared in a gust of wind. Midas began to wander giddily around the palace as he went from room to room. He giggled. What to touch? What to touch? He touched his hairbrush and it turned to gold. Midas couldn't believe his good fortune. Soon he would be the richest king in the world. He continued to touch things as fast as he could. His dining room table and chairs turned to gold. His plates, cups, forks, and spoons turned to gold. Tired from the excitement, Midas went to his bedroom for a nap. His fingers grazed his mattress and it turned to solid gold. The golden mattress was hard and cold. Oh well, said Midas, who preferred his soft downy mattress. Gold is good. And with that thought, Midas fell asleep. Upon waking, Midas' stomach told him it was time for supper. Sitting at his long, newly golden table, Midas smelled the delicious food waiting for him. Marigold sat across from her father. She nibbled on a warm, fragrant piece of bread. Father, you must eat the bread. It is delicious. A hungry Midas grabbed the bread, but before he could take a bite, the bread turned to gold. Midas quickly dropped the golden loaf. He picked up a juicy red apple, but it, too, turned into gold. Oh no, cried Midas. If everything I touch turns into gold, I will never be able to eat. I could starve. Midas looked so upset and worried that Marigold's eyes filled with tears. Marigold ran to comfort her father, and without thinking, Midas hugged his precious daughter. No! Screamed Midas in despair, but it was too late. Marigold had turned to gold. Dionysus, please help me, pleaded a weeping Midas. Dionysus heard Midas' cries for help and appeared in the palace faster than it took for a teardrop to roll down Midas' cheek. What is wrong? The wish you granted me is a curse. I see that now. I must rid myself of this terrible power. Dionysus nodded his head. Midas had learned a valuable lesson. Go to the river and wash your hands. Once you do, things will return to normal, said the god. Midas raced to the river and washed his hands until they were red as bricks. Then he ran back to his palace, chanting, Please, please let Marigold be fine. Marigold ran down the stairs and hugged her father. As tears of happiness flowed, Midas made a decision. He would give away any gold left in the treasury at the end of the year. For all that glitters is not always golden. So that is the end of it. Raise your hand if you were surprised. Raise your hand if you liked it. Thumbs down if you didn't like it. Good, you all enjoyed it. I'm glad that you all enjoyed it. Okay, so now let's go back to page 12, Página 12, and raise your hand if you have any questions. We will take it page by page to make it easier, okay? So first we're starting with page 12. So will you give me a question that's on page 15? No, because we're on page 12. So let's start with page 12. Does anyone have any questions? Good. Okay, so for page 12, I want you to take your highlighter and I want you guys to highlight the word fonder. Fonder. So this is going to be one of our new vocabulary words. So let me go ahead and write this for you so you can all have it. So now that we are done with our classroom rules, we can go ahead and tape up another piece of paper so we can write the word fonder. Let me turn this a bit so I can write on it. Okay. So fonder is the vocabulary word. So let's put a number 1, fonder. So let's go ahead and write out the letters. Repeat after me. F O N D E R. Good job. Okay, so you guys don't need to write this down in your English notebooks, but you guys can put it on these lines on the corner just so you have an idea of what it is. Okay. So fonder means to have affection for something, to really like something. So we know that King Midas really enjoyed gold and that made him happy, so he was fonder of gold. So let's think of an example. I am fonder of roses because I feel that I really like roses and I have an affection for roses, so I can say that I am fonder of roses. Does anybody have an example? Yes, Nicholas, give me your example. Good job. I like that example. Okay, so let's write it down. To like and let's put a little quotation mark and put have affection because it is to like and have affection. Let's go on to page 13. The second word that I want to bring to your attention is the word muttered. Muttered. So let me flip this so I can write a little bit better. Muttered. So let's go ahead and repeat after me. M U T T E R E D. Muttered. So muttered means to say something in a low voice without really being understood. So for example, if I'm upset at someone and I don't really want them to know, but I want to say something, when they, let's pretend they're talking to me, and when they turn around, I'm gonna say, I'm so angry. So I'm telling myself, I'm basically talking in between my teeth, like I muttered something. They didn't really understand, but I did make a sound. Does that make sense? So let's go ahead and say something in low voice. In low voice. Good. So let's go on to page 14. The next word that I want to bring to your attention is overjoyed. Overjoyed. So I'm not going to write it down only because I kind of ran out of space. But I will write it. I will give you guys the letters and you guys will repeat after me. O V E R J O Y E D. So overjoyed just means, the word says it itself. You're just like extremely happy. You can't contain your happiness. You're just extremely, extremely happy. So does everyone got that? Okay, so for example, I have the perfect example for this. When I get home from work, I am overjoyed to see my daughter waiting for me to give me a big hug. That means that makes me extremely happy. I can't contain my happiness to see her. Some of you guys might feel the same way when you see your parents pick you up from school. Thumbs up if you agree. Good, so that's how the king felt about his gold. The next word that I want to bring to your attention is despair. So like I said, I don't have space anymore, but I will sound it out for you. I will letter it, sorry. So it is D E S P A I R. Despair. And despair just means that you're at a loss of hope. So that means that you lost hope for something. Okay, we have that one down. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to page 12. Well, not exactly page 12, but just in general, throughout the story, I want you guys to tell me who were the main characters. So I will call on a few students when you politely raise your hand, and I will call on you. Okay, so who are the main characters? Aubrey, go ahead. You can tell me one of the main characters. Good. So Midas was one of the characters. Midas was the king. The story is actually about him. So he was one of the main characters. So we can go ahead and write it down here. We can put Midas and we can put king, just so we know. So I will go ahead and do the same. Midas was the king. Okay, does anyone want to tell me another character? Christina, go ahead. Good, Marigold. Yes, and who was Marigold? Good, the king's daughter. So let's go ahead and put that one down. So that was another character, Marigold. So let's go ahead and put Marigold, the king's daughter. Good, okay. Does anyone have any other answers for the main characters? Ethan, go ahead. Satire, good. So who was the satire? Good. So satire was the little elf that he saw in his garden, the one that he decided to help out. So we can go ahead and put satire. And I think they described it as half beast, half man. So let's go ahead and put that. Half beast, half man. Good job. Okay, another one. Yes, Nicole, go ahead. Yes, Dionysus was a main character as well. Who was Dionysus? Good, the one that granted the king his wish. So let's go ahead and put that. Dionysus granted king's wish. Is there any more characters that you guys can think of? No? Okay, good. I can't think of any either. So I think those were the main characters. I believe it was only 4. It was the king, the daughter, Marigold, the half-beast, half-man, and Dionysus. Okay. So now I have another question for you guys. So I'm going to have you guys actually partner share. I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes to turn and talk to your partner. And please mention all the settings that you guys can think about. You guys are going to discuss 3 things. So actually I'll give you guys about 4 or 5 minutes. So you guys will discuss the settings, the main events, and any challenges that you think. So I will be coming around and I want to hear and see all of you guys focus. Are we talking about recess time? No, we are talking about the setting, major events, and challenges. So go ahead, partner share. I will be going around. You have 4 to 5 minutes to do so. Okay, that is it. Our 4 or 5 minutes are over. I am going to call on someone randomly to share one of the settings that they have. Good. Marjorie, go ahead. Yes, good. The castle. Well, they didn't really specify if it was a castle, so we can put castle slash palace because we don't know exactly what he mentioned. But we can put castle and palace as one of the settings. Good job. So you guys can also write that down on the line here. Who wants to give me another one? Edwin? Good. The garden. The garden is where he what? Good. Where he met Sapphire. That's where it all started. Okay. Jaylene, give me another setting. The bedroom. So what happens in the bedroom? Good. The king touches the bed and it turns into gold. He's now realizing that everything that he touches turns into gold. Although he previously knew this, that everything he touched was going to turn into gold, he didn't know how serious it was going to be. So now even his bed turned into gold. Who wants to sleep on a gold bed? Raise your hand. Me either. Okay. So please give me, I want to hear from 4 students. I want 2 of you to give me, excuse me, 2 major events and 2 challenges. So go ahead and think about it. I know you guys discussed this with your partners, but just quickly think about it. Marjorie, go ahead. Good. So one of the major events was that the king helped Satire. Good job. Another one? Nicole? Yes, that was another one. The king was granted a wish by Dionysus. That is very true. Okay, now let's talk about the challenges. Edwin, go ahead. Yes, so one of the challenges was that everything he was touching was turning into gold. Yes, I love it. I agree. Christopher? Yes, that's another one. His daughter turned into gold. So does anyone want to tell me how this problem got solved? Nobody? Okay, I'll tell you guys just this time. The problem got solved because the king went back to Dionysus and told him that he wanted to take back his wish. He no longer wanted everything he touched to turn into gold. So he went where? To the river, washed his hands, and his wish was ungranted. Good. So I really like that you guys were all focused and that you guys were all listening, and I'm glad that you guys all enjoyed the story. So before recess, because we have about 2 minutes before it's recess, please take out a piece of paper. This is an exit, and it's called an exit slip. And you will write down one important thing that you learned from King Midas' story, and then I will collect it, and that will be your exit ticket to go to recess. And then also, I just wanted to remind you guys that at the end of the week on Friday, you guys will have a chapter test. It's not really a chapter test because this isn't a chapter, but you guys will have a test on the Tell King Midas that will have a lot of different questions regarding the settings, the main characters, the challenges, major events. So you guys need to study. Which means that you can just go home every night, just read the story over, talk to your parents about the settings, because you will be tested on Friday. So go ahead. Now you guys have about 1.5 minutes to finish up those exit slips, and I will collect them. Good. I like the way that everyone is focused. Okay. Thank you very much, students, for listening.